90-Day Fiancé, where are Jasmine and Gino now? Relationship explored. On 90-Day Fiancé, Gino Palazzolo and Jasmine Pineda were two of the most infamous contestants. During their turbulent and jealous relationship, fans were riveted to their TVs. In early 2022, the couple met online and quickly moved from playful chats to a serious affair. They were married in June 2023 after Jasmine relocated from Panama to Michigan. However, marriage didn't get much better. They were at odds about intimacy, money, trust, and pretty much everything else. When things became so difficult, they turned to treatment on 90-Day, the last resort. That also didn't help. They even suggested an open marriage at one point, which only served to hasten their demise. By late 2024, Jasmine had moved on with her gym buddy, Matt Brownies. She gave birth to their daughter Matilda in March 2025. As of July 2025, Jasmine and Gino are still legally married, but their relationship seems to have run its course as the couple is separated. 90-Day Fiancé's Jasmine and Gino's journey so far explored. Gino and Jasmine's relationship was a rather far cry from everything typical. In early 2022, Gino, a 50-year-old Michigan native, fell in love with Jasmine, a 30-something Panamanian woman. Despite the warning signs, two children from Jasmine's previous relationships, cultural divides, and age issues, they bonded. Their connection was fostered by frequent video conversations and correspondence, which eventually led them to apply for the K-1 visa as seen on 90-Day Fiancé. After Jasmine moved to the US in 2023, they got married in June. But as soon as real life took over, the problems began. There were significant conflicts when living together in Michigan. Money started to cause tension all the time. Jasmine wanted things her way, and Gino was frugal. They had very different financial priorities, which resulted in frequent blowouts. Another major problem was trust. Jasmine was unable to forgive Gino for his previous transgressions, such as sharing private images of her without her consent. That wound continued coming up during disputes and never completely healed. But the biggest hurdle in their relationship was the complete breakdown of physical intimacy. For months, they lacked any real connection, emotionally or physically, and it became the centerpiece of their storyline on 90-Day Fiancé. Hoping to salvage their marriage, they joined the last resort for therapy. Jasmine proposed rekindling their romance by opening their marriage in early 2024. It failed because it was a dangerous strategy, the consequences of which graced our TV screens on 90-Day Fiancé. It fanned the flames rather than putting out the fire. Gino and Jasmine's relationship ended because what was supposed to keep them together instead drove them away. Jasmine and Gino's current status and what lies ahead. Today, Jasmine and Gino live completely separate lives despite remaining legally married. Jasmine now focuses on raising her 3 children, including baby Matilda, with boyfriend Matt Brownies. According to reports, Gino has moved on and found a new partner. However, because of complicated immigration relations and financial obligations resulting from the K-1 visa procedure, neither has filed for divorce. Their experience serves as a warning about the difficulties faced by foreign spouses on reality TV. Despite the breakdown of their marriage, both seem to have found contentment in other partnerships. 90-Day Fiancé star Jasmine Pineda introduces surprising new family members in America after announcing shocking decision about Matt Brownies. Jasmine Pineda from 90-Day, The Last Resort has a brand new family in the US, and she's showing them off after revealing her relationship status with Matt Brownies. Jasmine met Matt at her gym in November 2023. It had been just months since Jasmine married Gino Palazzolo, but she had been unhappy due to a lack of intimacy. Jasmine cried every day and even lost her hair from stress. Gino was controlling her financially. He made a mistake in Jasmine's son's visa process as well. Matt became a shoulder to cry on, and she decided to open her marriage. Jasmine is currently separated from Gino and living with Matt and their baby daughter in Florida, but there are also 2 more surprising members in their new family. Jasmine shared several pictures of Matt sitting next to Gino's cousin, Dana Palazzolo, and his wife, Michelle. Michelle held little Matilda and fed her from her milk bottle. Jasmine captioned the Instagram post, "Papa Dana and Mommy Mishi came to visit their little princess." Jasmine added that they had a lovely weekend. She also wrote, "I love you all so much. My beautiful American family," while tagging Matt, Dana, and Michelle in her post and using the hashtags, #FamilyTime, #HappyTimes, #90dayfiance. What Matt hanging out with Dana and Michelle means for Gino. Is Matt the new Gino for Dana and Michelle? Matt was introduced by Jasmine as her friend during The Last Resort Season 2. At the time, Gino claimed not to know him but expressed concern that Jasmine might develop feelings for the Romanian man. It's as if Gino had predicted what was going to happen, since Jasmine left him within weeks of filming the spin-off. 5 months later, she was pregnant with Matt's baby. However, Jasmine insisted she was not in love with Matt. He was simply her baby's father, and they planned to co-parent. It seems that while she was going through a rough patch in her marriage with Gino, Jasmine bonded with Dana and his wife, who lived near Gino and Jasmine's home in Michigan. Michelle was also one of Jasmine's first friends in America. She was the one who informed Jasmine that Gino had visited a strip club for his bachelor party behind her back. Dana once thought of Jasmine as a gold digger, but his opinion appears to have changed, so much so that Matt may have replaced Gino as a brother in his eyes. Our take on Gino's family choosing Jasmine's baby daddy over him. Did Jasmine drive a wedge between Gino and his family? While it is understandable that Michelle sympathized with Jasmine because of the way Gino treated her and may have influenced her husband, Dana, to take sides, it is still surprising that they welcomed Matt with open arms. Perhaps Dana and Michelle were already not on good terms with Gino before Jasmine entered the picture. They may have been looking for a reason to sever ties with him, and Jasmine provided the perfect excuse to distance themselves from the 90-day, The Last Resort star for good. 90-day, The Last Resort's Jasmine Pineda is finally happy as a new mom. She's better off without Gino as she deals with tell-all scandal with Rob Warren. 90-day, The Last Resort's Jasmine Pineda is getting the last laugh after clashing with co-star Rob Warren at the tell-all reunion. Jasmine announced on Wednesday, April 9, that she had given birth to her third child, a daughter named Matilda, whom she and her boyfriend, Matt Brownies, are calling Maddie for short. Jasmine's pregnancy was controversial, given that she was still married to her estranged husband, Gino Palazzolo. Jasmine and Gino's off-and-on relationship has been documented on multiple seasons of 90 Day Fiancé spin-offs, and Jasmine's pregnancy was a bombshell dropped at the tell-all reunion. I'm not sure if it was a surprise, but Jasmine also announced at the tell-all that Gino was not the father. Jasmine gets a lot of negative attention for her behavior, but I think she's way better off without Gino in her life. Let's not forget all the things Gino put Jasmine through, including when he sent intimate photos of her to his ex, which cost Jasmine her job. Jasmine and Gino stayed together after The Last Resort. They agreed to an open marriage. Jasmine and Gino's relationship wasn't healthy, and no amount of therapy was going to fix that. Although they attempted to repair their marriage on The Last Resort, Jasmine's wish for an open marriage was a red flag for many of the cast, including Gino. Matt was already in Jasmine's life at that point, and many felt that Jasmine's open marriage suggestion was simply a cover for her relationship with Matt. Before Jasmine and Gino renewed their faith in their marriage at the show's recommitment ceremony, Jasmine, Gino, and Matt had an incredibly awkward phone conversation about the rules of their new relationship dynamic. The writing was on the wall for Gino, but he sat there and agreed, although he didn't want to. Gino was desperate to hang on to Jasmine, but it came at a very high price. Jasmine surprised Gino with a pregnancy. Gino knew he wasn't the father. While rumors swirled for months that Jasmine was pregnant with another man's baby, it was finally confirmed to be true when Jasmine made her grand entrance at the tell-all. Jasmine held her head high and walked onto that stage, proudly displaying her unmistakable baby bump, much to the chagrin of the hapless Gino, who sat there looking like he smelled something bad. The rest of the cast also appeared shocked. In an attempt to defend Gino, Rob got into it with Jasmine, calling her all sorts of unacceptable names. Jasmine became so outraged that she threw her white high heels at Rob, which he then later attempted to break backstage. Everyone knows that Jasmine has a fiery temper. Even though I'm happy she's found happiness, it wasn't going to be a peaceful reunion because Jasmine often lets her emotions get the better of her. When she's going up against men who have no shame in harassing her, it's no wonder she lost her cool. Jasmine gave birth. Jasmine had a daughter. Jasmine announced the birth of daughter Matilda in an Instagram post a few days after the second part of the tell-all aired. No matter what went down at the reunion, Jasmine has her happiness now, and nobody can take that away from her, not even Gino. I understand why Gino would be hurt, as it's obviously not ideal to have your partner suggest an open marriage and then get pregnant with someone else's baby. But I'm convinced that Jasmine and Gino were incompatible from the start, and it would have been impossible to overcome some of the hurdles they faced. I'm happy that Jasmine finally has her happy ending. 90 Day Fiancé's Jasmine Pineda exposes Gino's plan for a verbal and emotional attack on her during last resort tell-all amid money-making setback. Jasmine Pineda from 90 Day, The Last Resort leaked a DM from her estranged husband Gino Palazzolo, which revealed how he planned to take her down at the tell-all. Jasmine and Gino did renew their vows at the recommitment ceremony where Gino agreed to have an open relationship involving Matt brownies. However, Gino and Jasmine split after the show for some reason, and Jasmine is now pregnant with Matt's baby, even though he was a third in the marriage. Gino and Jasmine's relationship has turned so sour that they've taken their feud online, diving fans and cast alike. Jasmine is out to expose Gino as the person he really is amid him seeking sympathy from fans after hinting at her being an alleged cheater. However, Jasmine is also trying her best to outdo Gino. At 90 Day Fiance Alexa reposted a few stories that Jasmine shared on Instagram exposing Gino. She procured a screenshot of a DM sent by Gino to an anonymous source where he told them to sit back and get their popcorn ready because Jasmine turns into a villain from this week's episode onward. Gino commented that he couldn't wait for the last resort tell-all when he and his boys would tear Jasmine and Matt to shreds. Gino laughed and asked the person to have a beautiful day. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Jasmine accused Gino of having premeditated all the verbal and emotional attacks towards her. She claimed he knew the real story about everything. She sarcastically mentioned how it was nice to see him play the victim when he knew what he had allegedly done to her for years. Moreover, Jasmine also posted a reel where Josh Weinstein threatened to beat Matt in an interview. Gino had seemingly supported Josh by reposting a clip of the interview to his own Instagram story. What Gino's threats against Jasmine mean for his reputation. Jasmine is also exposing Gino's friends like Josh and Rob. Jasmine accused Josh of committing an offense by allegedly threatening to cause injury to Matt. She wrote that there's a punishment when a person makes a threat against someone else's life or safety with the intent to cause harm or create fear. Jasmine seemed to have done her research and claimed it would be a second-degree felony and would be punishable by up to 15 years in prison or with a fine of up to $10,000.